my goodness, this is horrible.
Hey everybody!
Hi guys.
MaJeliv here, we're the Vasquez family, and in today's video we're going to be doing kind of a part 1 and 2. We're going to be watching 2 What If videos today, Marvel's What If. We've been extremely busy with, gratefully extremely busy with work here at home, from more MaJeliv work. We're kind of setting things up for the future of MaJeliv, which is extremely exciting. But also we've had a lot of auditions in the past 2 weeks between the 4 of us that are in the acting industry as well, for TV and film, for those of you that don't know. So luckily, I mean, gratefully, we've had a lot of work, but obviously when we're focusing on that, we haven't really been able to get to our reactions of What If. We heard that last week's episode is really good, so we're definitely going to be watching that one. And then the episode that came out this week.
Which looks very interesting.
Which looks really interesting.
So let's
whichever video you guys are watching, whether it's episode 3, episode 4, thank you so much for joining us today. We are extremely excited. We've enjoyed the show so far. Episode 1 and 2 were great. Really, I mean, they were fun. They were really, I think, just really interesting. But now these seem extremely, a little bit darker, I would say. So I'm curious to see how dark and to what extent. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoy our reaction. Let's jump in. Here we go.
Let's jump in and ponder the question: What if?
I wish you guys could have seen me running back to the theater when this came on. We were watching Shang-Chi.
Yeah, because we were,
Matthew told me.
yeah, I told Dad that that was, and then we're going to get some water and some popcorn. And yeah, there should be some trailers, so just go quick. And as he's leaving, this starts playing and he runs back in.
And I checked my phone and in all caps from Matthew, come back!
Is there an after credits?
Follow me and ponder the question: What if?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow doctors.
Maybe she dies now.
Loses his heart, possibly.
Right. Yeah. That's why he loses her.
All I said was good evening.
Same way in the movie.
Not really, because when that car was coming forward,
That's when he got hit.
that's when he got hit, and his hands went to it. But you saw that when he went to the side, it went sideways, and it hit her.
No, Christine.
Oh my god.
Grief-stricken, strange sought answers across the world and in the mystic arts.
So not like Dr. Faustus, where he searches answers through Dormammu.
Dormammu.
He became who he...
became the Sorcerer Supreme.
That's so
Yes,
sad.
his hands never got hurt, so he went searching for different reasons.
Well, the episode's just begun, so he will do something like this. Imagine there's an alternate timeline where he actually goes to get tea, and he doesn't do anything bad.
That's the beauty of the multiverse. There actually
Probably is,
one exists where he does.
Reminds me
Can
of
we see that one?
the WandaVision
And
tea.
this,
Yeah.
Tea kettle.
Well, this is shaping up to be a night to remember.
Still happens.
Because there was always the car from the back.
Isn't the bridge that way?
Taking a different route. It's okay, we'll be fine.
What the heck?
It's almost like you can't avoid it no matter what.
This whole part.
How frustrating. See, I guess
That's just how it is in his universe, I guess. She's always meant to die.
Well, there's some realities that you can't change. That's what's so bizarre. Talk about other realities, but this
It's kind of like with Loki.
is stuck.
He's meant to be the Sorcerer Supreme no matter what.
Yeah.
Nothing is impossible. You taught me that. I only require more power.
The greatest sorcerers of the past
Anakin
could not
much?
traverse an
Right.
absolute point.
You don't know that.
It's so fascinating. I have no clue where it's going.
Because even in the last one, I kind of knew it was either Hank Pym, because it was a...
Nanotech, right?
This, yeah,
But this, I don't know. Oh, man.
Those are rude,
It's a good Christmas movie.
I think. Yeah.
Quite the welcome.
Oh yeah, like in WandaVision, right?
Yeah.
With
Hit
the
it
symbol
absorb, yeah.
thing.
Here we go.
It's the same thing.
Please.
Isn't that the thing that Agent Carter had to fight?
Yeah.
Looks like it. Yep.
It's like in a time realm or something,
What
right?
happened? Mystic beings do not bargain.
This reminds me of Wanda, what Wanda did.
Yeah.
Well, and she was searching.
Well, she,
Her grief.
her grief, yeah.
Yeah.
She's trying to change the fact that Vision died,
Yeah.
but maybe not the same thing.
Yeah, he's overcome by the pursuit of power now.
Yeah.
And he believes.
Whoa.
Makes us grateful for the strange we have, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Whoa.
Gosh.
Yeah.
He's like Mephisto
He's
now.
becoming like a Mephisto, yeah.
Makes you wonder how Wanda's gonna be.
Yeah, seriously.
But the fate of his universe is not worth risking the safety of all others. Besides,
Who's that?
Whoa.
He can sense the Watcher.
He's absorbed so much power.
Weird.
He's been there for years and years.
He's absorbing it all. Oh my gosh.
Oh, this is really bad. Really bad. He is.
He sensed the Watcher over all multiverses.
it was true. He wasn't alone. He wasn't even the only Doctor Strange in this universe.
You called it, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Enough living in the past for one evening.
Hey, you called it, man.
Whoa. That's not pretty.
That's because the other Doctor Strange is split from him.
What was in that whiskey?
And he's gotta fight his other side.
He's found me.
Oh, that's not great.
No, it's not.
No.
I feel like that's what Wanda's gonna do, to find her kids again. Right?
Yeah.
Hello?
For we are one and the same.
He is
No.
not sleeping.
I never knew her.
It's like the darkest version of himself, right? He has to fight that version of him.
We loved her. You can't bring her back.
Okay,
Your
go.
marbles are long gone. The world, however, still stands a chance.
It's crazy, dude. This is insane.
I know, he's fighting
Absolute
himself.
nuts.
I've gone too far to turn back now.
Whoa. Dude, Doctor Strange is so awesome.
Yes.
It's been the coolest one so far, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, this episode is out of control. Awesome.
It really is showing what multiverse of madness could be like.
I mean, Doctor Strange hasn't met Scarlet Witch yet.
Emotional battle.
No.
Nope.
The Watcher?
Put light.
The universe is flipping out.
It looks like multiverse of madness. You saw that?
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. They're gonna kill
Dude, they're
themselves.
using the animation to.
No! Oh my goodness, this is horrible.
The heck?
Oh no.
So this universe gets obliterated. What
The heck?
It's me, Christine.
Yeah.
Oh my god. What's happening?
Oh man.
Oh, that's like in the Hex. Right? Yeah.
Mm-mm.
No. That universe goes kaput.
What?
Oh.
Christine.
Oh no.
Still left alone.
And he's just stuck in the middle of time.
One choice, one moment, can destroy the entire universe.
Oh my gosh. Such a depressing
Look where it ends.
timeline.
And that was the moment
The
then.
office.
That was the moment. He could have just went for a cup of
But
tea.
truthfully, in this universe,
It just shows how much power Doctor Strange holds, and that's why it's so important for him to know
His
but
limits.
also
his limits.
limits, but also it's kind of reminds me of Dr. Faust's story where he continuously went deeper into necromancy and dark arts. I mean, in that story, it was more because of the sake of he just wanted more power. But here, you know, when you have
Wait, who are you talking about?
the story of Dr. Faustus, how he was a doctor who, after he learned all he could, he wanted to learn more, and then he. This is obviously a fictional story, but the sense of that, and then eventually he did a deal with the devil, and then got all these powers. But in a sense, those are the vibes this is giving me.
I mean,
Doctor Strange,
there was a visual when Doctor Strange was doing like this at that point where it was just him and her, just the two of them. There was like almost it was surrounding the screen, and when they were showing the presentation of what's to come from Marvel and the multiverse of madness thing showed up, it reminded me of that. The way that there was like black surrounding the outside, and in the inside is like a reddish orange, and it was that exact same thing.
Yeah, I definitely think this episode, I mean, it stays true to the theme of this show, which is, you know, what if, and clearly this Doctor Strange, I mean, I think it wouldn't be realistic if all of them, I mean, even the one we saw before wasn't necessarily the happiest. I think there definitely are some universes where things just don't end up well and they go out of existence. I mean, what we learned about with Kang and He Who Remains is some of these universes were literally destroyed because of different variations of this one Kang. So even with this, you know, even this universe is a little bit different because Doctor Strange, again, never, in the story we know, in Earth 616 is that, you know, Christine was never with Doctor Strange in the car. So that alone is already
It also
something
shows
different.
us too how much the Watcher won't intervene no matter what happens. It shows us the power that Doctor Strange does have given an extreme situation like universe, the world of madness, whatever, multiverse of madness. The potential he has to either help or cause more destruction. And then also with those types of powers, we also get a glimpse of what Wanda could potentially create in the future.
It also shows that when you dive so deep into those dark arts, it's really hard to turn back. I mean, I think that's it too. Is the Ancient One did what she did, split the timeline, but Doctor Strange himself had already done that. You know, he had already chosen to.
I mean, that was just half of him, though. Think about that. Like, half of him was able to grow to that capacity of, you know, strength and evil, and that was only half. So
The thing though, if you think about the story of Doctor Strange originally, is Doctor Strange had to overcome a lot of ego and pride and selfishness that this Doctor Strange never really went through. Because again, so what we learned is the reason he went into the mystic arts is very different.
right.
Before it was about fixing his hands and being better, whereas here it was all about saving Christine. So automatically
more difficult.
Right.
Far more deeply wounded
more
state.
susceptible to.
It's a wounded state that is very well. It's impossible to return from in this universe for him.
Yeah.
Because now you're dealing. What I love about this episode is that it really taps into a lot of the themes that we experienced in Loki, where sure it's Marvel and it's animated but it brings to surface all these human faults that massively get in the way of some really wonderful things happening. Pride that arises from a deep grief, and the sadness that he had to overcome and couldn't, and especially because he's given power, he's discovered this power to potentially erase grief when grief is meant. And Wanda said it best, or not Wanda, but rather Vision, right?
Yeah.
What is grief but love over
Persevering.
persevering?
Love persevering.
Love persevering, and you know, Doctor Strange never gives himself that chance in this universe, and so he suffers the ultimate consequence. I mean, it looks like the last impression I was left with is he's left alone, literally alone, the only existing being in his universe.
It's so depressing.
With no death in sight, and so it's eternal loneliness for him. With the weight and burden of everything he's caused, that's a living hell forever and ever. And it comes first and foremost with pride. You know, and you know he's in his original state, when in time of being a successful doctor, it was constant success can lead to this thinking that all matters you could take into your hands will. If you start treating yourself like a god, you will quickly be reminded by the true God, you are not God, and you're going to just destroy everything. So I love, this is my favorite
It also
episode,
makes me
by
think
far.
about Spider-Man. The trailer we saw, we don't know the full extent of the movie or the story, but it kind of hints at some of those things we'll be seeing in Spider-Man, where he wants to shift time and the effects that can have and the detriment it can cause to their reality. And also the reasons behind why Spider-Man is going to want to do that. I don't know, this episode really opened up my mind to the potential of what we're going to see in the future of Marvel and the real movies. I know this is just animated and it's a what-if tangent, but I think this reveals a lot of the potential of things we could see in the real life movie.
It's also a lesson, like, it has the same lesson, like, with this episode and with Spider-Man No Way Home that's coming out. They both had that same lesson of be careful what you wish for. And it's that whole thing of things are supposed to happen whether we like it or not. Like, if you think about it, even with these possibilities, the things that happened were supposed to happen just the way they needed to. Like, there should be no reason why it should be changed, but sometimes we're so caught up in our emotions that we're blinded by the reality of the good things you get through what happened.
Yeah.
Instead of being so focused on changing what happened.
This episode also shows, though, is that
It's okay.
it emphasizes the reality of the free will we have, because yes, there's certain things, you know, like, regardless of what you believe in, there's certain things that are just meant to happen. You can't, like you've been saying, you can't change it, or rather in the show, it's an absolute point.
Right.
Whether it's things that cause grief or things that are unchanged, and in the bigger picture, it's, you know, if you really look at it, there is good. I mean, you know, what quote-unquote punishment isn't necessarily, you know, a gift from God in that sense, you know? So really what this shows is, yes, this happened to Doctor Strange. And yes, he turned dark. You know, maybe that's what this universe is. But at the end, there's still that sense of free will. Like, he had the choice to choose.
Right.
He had a certain power that was inevitable, but he really, at the end of the day, had that choice from what we saw with the Watcher. I think that's I think the biggest thing with the Watcher is the Watcher has that essence of he has the power to intervene, but he doesn't, because we have this sense of free will. And if he intervenes, then we don't learn. There's no sense of learning there.
And
so,
his growth and learning came from a source of pain and hurt in his original storyline with his hands and everything. So
it impacts how he teaches
it
Tony.
develops.
He also impacts how he teaches Tony about, you know, being selfless, and also what's the way we fix all this. Like, all of Doctor Strange's growth impacts the universe we know. And I do think, from what you're saying, Mom, I do think that this theme of this episode does tie into Spider-Man's most famous theme, which is, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. So
At a
think
greater
it's
scale than Spider-Man. Like,
Right.
a lot greater scale. than
bigger
Spider-Man.
scale, but
a lot bigger.
but it's a sense of, if this is a bad Doctor Strange and we have a good Doctor Strange, what can he teach him?
And he will. That's where I was
That's
going.
why I think this upcoming Spider-Man No Way Home movie is going to lead into Doctor Strange trying to teach him, and I think at the same time we have someone like Scarlet Witch, Wanda, who is gonna maybe lean into something more like this, where she just becomes so. I mean, she's lost a lot, So it's gonna be very.
I think Doctor Strange, from the universe we know, and I can't help but hope that we see a little bit of this in Spider-Man No Way Home, that he indeed. I think this episode introduced this concept of splitting people, splitting timelines for the sake of a lesson, for the sake of chance, for giving the universe a chance. Yeah, and if Peter Parker is requesting this spell, it's going to have massive effect that I think Doctor Strange has to put him through a sense of, well, I'm going to show you what that might be, but ultimately that's not what you want, but I'm going to show you so that you know for sure that's not what you want. So ultimately the lesson that Doctor Strange, I certainly hope I'll see him teach Peter Parker is indeed that it's mayhem coming, but you can avoid it because I've created 2 timelines, but you have got to be able to make a choice. So it's going to get very interesting with Wanda, as you're all pointing out, because I don't know that he'll be able to do that with her. She's so powerful.
She's stronger than him.
And she's a tiny bit more stubborn.
That's true.
Yeah.
But another thing, she made a whole town just so that she
Look
could
how much
feel
convincing
love
it
again.
took her. Literally, had to take Vision himself to convince her.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. She's been in a lot of grief, so it's gonna be very hard.
And the thing that this Doctor Strange wanted to change was something that made him who he was or who he is. You know, like a pivotal moment that determined who he was going to be. And if he wanted to change that, then that's gonna alter it. That's why it's one of those moments that can't change, because that makes him who he is, right?
In this universe, right?
In this universe. But like, for example, we don't know yet if Wanda's gonna be in any of these, but well, she's a Nexus being, so we don't really know. But losing Vision, perhaps that's something that makes her realize her powers and how powerful she is and who she is. You know? So if she wants to change that or bring her kids back, because that's what it seems like.
The potential with Wanda, I feel, is at the end of WandaVision, you know, she's sitting on the porch, but then you go to the back and you see Scarlet Witch looking through. So in a way, there's the possibility that maybe with Wanda, it's similar to what we saw here, is
There's
her personality, her being starts to split into 2, where Scarlet Witch starts to become much more of a physical being, an other being. So now she's having to fight herself, and then she's having to face her darkest demons. But maybe then there's a moment where they fuse, and then on the inside is when she has. So there's a lot of
Parallels.
opportunity there.
Yeah.
And I love that concept, because as humans, that's what we deal with as well.
Yeah.
We
Our
deal
internal
with
battles.
our internal battles, and also through suffering, we either grow or we go into a place of, you know, despair and just we
Darkness,
like to
yeah.
stay stuck in that darkness, or we can come out from it stronger and overcome and become a different person through our struggles. I love this concept.
Yeah, this was a very, very interesting episode.
Very insightful
Insightful.
to all of what might be coming our way. And it all highlights the human experience, and I love that.
I love how they're making superhuman people be so human.
Yes.
Yep.
In a very
Makes them
hyperbolized
relatable.
way.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
Yeah, because I think I think these last 2, more this last one really, the one we just watched, taps more into that character essence of the human condition. Because the first 2 are more like, I don't want to say plotty, because there were some cool characters in there, but they just kind of switched the plot. Where this one really touches on, a certain choice may change the universe, but you still have free will. Free will is still in the mix of possibility, because it's what we've said before. One choice can change something, but then from there's infinite amounts of possibilities. You know,
there's a difference between, because there's a very big difference between like the characters that we have been seeing and someone like a Doctor Strange, who can do something about a choice.
But we all can. Hank Pym didn't have to decide to kill all the Avengers.
Right.
He gave in to grief.
Yes, but in a way, I agree with that. But what Josh is getting at, and I agree with, is this shows us and answers our question of what happens if you do try to change. Because we can go back and think, what if Peggy didn't help Steve? What if someone went back and changed that? Would it be the same thing? Or
But
would
Doctor
it eventually...
Strange could go back and change that if he wanted to.
Right, but then it doesn't. Then you ask the question of...
He's more like a god figure, closer to than the regular people, if that makes sense. Like he has more of an ability to change things.
He
Like,
has
a
that
more-
option to
that
make to
option,
be
yeah.
kind of like to be like that.
Yeah, this could get very metaphysical. Because I could go on and on about
Yeah,
how.
what
I do have to bring this up before we close. I think I had one favorite scene that was like this. For anyone that's out there that's seen it, these guys have the Superman, original Superman movies with Christopher Reeve. There's a great fight in the car junkyard between the two Supermans. It brought me to this.
Yeah.
And this was a much better fight. This is incredible.
Okay.
Sadly,
Well, it's a lot
ended-
sadder because
yeah,
Superman won.
The
in
good
other one.
Superman,
The
yeah.
good Superman won in the other one, but
this shows us what happens when the darkness wins, which
Yes.
is clearly awful.
Terrible.
Yeah.
yeah. So thank you
All
guys.
right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope
Thank you.
enjoyed our reaction and our commentary. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, what you thought, what you think about what we're saying, and if you agree, if you disagree, what you guys found interesting, what themes resonated with you, everything. We want to hear your thoughts.
Ponder
in the comments, so-
questions. Maybe make up your own what ifs. You know, just
Yeah, we want to hear. We love connecting with
What
you
kind of
guys.
scenario you thought would be cool to see?
We love connecting with you guys. So let us know down below in the comments. Thank you for your support. Thank you for joining us today. Go out there, spread your light, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.